Hi again, this is Professor Lucien, and this is the review for Module 4 and an introduction into Module 5 or Week 5. So, just like in previous weeks, what I want to do is kind of give you a rundown on how you and your peers have been performing as far as the metrics I can find on the website, review some of the major topics from this past week, and then get into or plan out what's going to be coming this week, along with some announcements. So as you can see, I compared here the Module 4 data to the first 3-week average. So the average is, it's a little bit lower than what we had before by about an hour. Maybe you guys are getting better at it and doing it. We still had someone who had really low time here. Looks like they just jumped on and quick looked at a few things and then jumped off. One thing that concerned me is that only 8 of 11 of you completed the assignments this week, which kind of concerns me because the ones who didn't, there seems to be a trend. I want to make sure you guys get that stuff in. You do get to drop 1 week's worth of stuff, but still, you don't want to, for easy weeks, it's better just to get it done. So most of you are, some of you are, I don't want to call out names, but Grant and Nicole, you guys are killing it. You're doing such a great job. Please keep that up. Everybody else is doing pretty good, except for just a handful who aren't getting the stuff done. If you are submitting things that are very brief, very short, especially compared to the 2 all-stars I just mentioned, I won't be able to give you full points because they deserve the full points. They're doing an amazing job, and so I'm going to kind of start scoring things a little bit lower just to be fair to them because they're doing such a great job. So this last week we had lockout tagout, which is very interesting. I find it interesting because I like doing electrical work, that you have to be able to identify all the sources of energy to a piece of equipment or a process if you're going to need to do any maintenance on it or repair, and then systematically go through and de-energize and then lock it and then make sure there's no stored energy before you work on it. And each piece of equipment really needs its own instructions. Then we looked at electrical safety, talked about arc flash. I really wish I could have gone hours and hours on that topic. I just tried to scratch the surface just to make you aware that each workplace, not only if you have equipment, you have to do a lockout tagout program, but you do need to do a walk around and find out all the potential for exposure to electrical safety or arc flash, and make sure you put in either training, guards, or at least signage. Machine safeguarding, could have gone a long time on that as well. The reference to Rockford Systems is really what you need should you be going forward. But I think I gave you a nice basic overview of the different types of guards that are out there and even some of the newer technologies. The compressed gas, which we called hazardous materials because it's under subpart G of OSHA, I'm going to be kind of moving that into welding safety, and I may move the hazardous waste into something we're going to cover this week. But I got to talk a little bit about RCRA, a little bit about the dangers of compressed gases. They finally got into welding safety. And welding safety has one side, which is the fire potential, but 2, which is maybe more concerning, is the health hazards through welding fume. This week we're getting into fire safety. And there's a lot of ways to look at fire safety. There is prevention, protection, evacuation. Emergency preparedness is an interesting one, and sometimes they call it disaster preparedness, and that's actually that's the edge I took on it. I may be moving that into a different lecture as well. You'll see. Flammable liquids, I really like that one. I have a minor in chemistry, so anything that, within that realm I'm very comfortable with. Ventilation basics, I rebuilt that presentation. I was about to give an older one, and I just didn't feel it was giving you enough. So I gave you a brand new put together ventilation. I'm really proud of it. It took me an extra 3 or 4 hours to really put it together. And also the assignment this week is kind of built around lecture 24. So make sure you spend some time understanding how I solve certain problems, because I need you to solve it for this week's assignment, which is really important because it's part of the assessment we have for our ABET accreditation. So please do that. And then lecture 25, I'm giving you a very brief overview of the hazardous waste operations and response, which is standard 1910-120. And then 1910-119, right before HAZWOPER, is PSM, or process safety management. These are very complex standards. HAZWOPER, you need 40 hours to be able to do that. process safety management, you basically need an engineering degree to do that. So I'm just going to give you an overview of what they mean. I'll be moving the disaster preparedness probably into lecture 5 and expanding out maybe ventilation or maybe something to do with spray booze. We'll see, but that's the way I want to go with it. So just to wrap things up, keep this short as possible. This week we'll be doing one-on-ones again with me. And I'm going to quickly show you some of the things that I posted this week. So this week I'm introducing the semester projects. I talked to a lot of you about it a week ago. That I want you to somehow do something safety related, something applied, because maybe hopefully you have access to something where you can do either, assess electrical, assess fire, assess evacuation. There's a lot of different topics in this course that you can do a basic assessment of and then quickly write it up. And that's all I really want, is just to see how you kind of work through an issue and apply one of the techniques we learned during the first 2 weeks of the course. That's what I want. So I posted my times that I'm available this week. Unfortunately, I have a lot of things going on. Today was crazy. I'm on a committee to planning going back to campus, and it's taking up almost all of my time. So it looks like Thursday I have all day open. So please email me if you're available anytime Thursday, 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. at night. Friday afternoon, looks like I'm available after 2 o'clock till 9 o'clock. I could go till 10, but I'd rather be done by 10. And then Saturday as well. So I'd like to try to get in those 3 days if at all possible. If you need to go on Wednesday, I got a little bit of time, but I've got a live webinar that I'm doing on Wednesday, and I kind of want to focus on that. So I could possibly meet in the afternoon. And as far as for Tuesday, which is probably when you might be seeing this for the first time, I've got a lot of stuff going on as well. But please email me some options and we'll figure this out. I could actually maybe meet on Sunday if you really needed to. So I just want to quickly show you here. So here's the kind of the breakdown. I'll be putting the presentation right here. I've got the assignment. I've got the problem solving under the reflection, and then I've got the semester assignment. And that's what we'll talk about in our WebEx that we have together. And then I'll have a few behavioral questions based on topics from modules 3 and 4. If you have any questions, please email me. Otherwise, I'll be expecting you to contact me with some options for when we can meet this week.